I don't believe they're going to gift us the chance yet again to buy an asset down 90% and give us a 30 or 40x return every time we go back to the casino. I mean, it's hilarious, the opportunity they've given us. And if you've taken it, it's made enormous life-changing profit. That's my biggest fear, is the damn thing goes down 40% and we're all caught offside waiting for the last leg and we don't get it. That's a bigger fear. A lot of people fear getting trapped in the market. My fear is being trapped out of the market. This is the largest wealth-generating machine humanity's ever been given. Everybody has PTSD because the last cycle was stunted. For whatever reason. It started earlier, more aggressive because of what happened with the 2020 shenanigans and then the FTX. It was more stunted. That's what my view is, and it caught many of us by surprise. Would I have done anything different? No, I wouldn't have sold a penny anyway. So it was not in my thesis. I have a long-term thesis. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world, not because he fucking traded his stock. It's because he didn't trade his stock, right? I know it's antithetical for most people, but it is really the way to get rich, is just do nothing. But we all live in the real world and we want to cash in some lifestyle chips and we want to, make sure that we feel like we've achieved something out of all of the hard work that we've put in. So my view is I'm just going to use time. Somewhere towards the end of this year, I'll take a third off. Then I don't give a shit. And then if we have a super cycle, I'll take another chunk off. But I don't know what to do with that money. I don't really need to do anything else. So let's just sit in cash and wait for a bear market and hope it happens. God forbid if it doesn't happen, but at least I'll get some exposure. This is why, if you can avoid trying to do too much, in 7 years' time, you will thank yourself for not having done it. I've done both. I've sold out in 2017. The other thing is, let's say your $1,000 is now worth $1 million and you sell out and you nail the high, you're within 20% of the high, brilliant. Market collapses down 90%. You will not put your $1 million back in. You can't do it. Even though it's de-risked, nobody can do that. And so which case you will under-allocate compared to what you would have had. It's weird. The psychology of investing, particularly when this is a high-stakes game, we've all got lots of our net worth tied up in these bets. The psychology of investing is really hard. So I don't know. We also build out models in the macro investing tool, GMI, everything else around the timing, because we need to do it for the asset management firm to a certain extent. But me personally, I'm trying not to fret that noise, but just give people the tools to understand it themselves. I don't think the perpetual money machine overcomes cyclicality. Liquidity in, liquidity out. I don't think you can avoid it. So it's such a dominant force that if the Fed have to, and the other central banks have to reduce liquidity at the end of the cycle, which they almost always do, it will hit the assets. Firstly, for most of the liquidity formula, it matters not about rate cuts. Cast your mind back, 1994, the bond market blew up. Similar, not less extreme, but it was very extreme at the time. Everyone thought we were going to get a recession in 95, 96. We didn't, we skirted it. And what happened was the Fed cut once or twice, 25 basis points, 50 basis points, and then didn't do anything until 1998 in the Asian crisis. The NASDAQ went up 170% in that period. You just need stability. You don't need, .com, we've got the same backdrop that, of AI and everything else. You don't need rate cuts. You need liquidity and you need stability. And even if liquidity stays the same, but you have stability, it gives people the ability to take risk. So I'm not worried about it. I don't think anybody knows how it plays out, but I know that Europe has to and will cut rates. The UK has to and will cut rates. China has to and will cut rates. And if they're not careful, the dollar's too strong. So the US has to do something about it. So the only answer is liquidity. And let's say by not doing something, they torch commercial real estate, which is going to happen anyway, right? It's a slow death or an instant death, whatever way. The answer is always more cowbell. So whatever happens, the answer will always be more liquidity, which is why this is the most lopsided, asymmetric, macro risk-taking environment in all history. Take it off the table. This is everyone's obsession with the death spiral. These people are not stupid. They know the game. You don't know the game they're playing. The game they're playing is, we will keep this fucking game going forever because we have all the tricks up our sleeve. And once you've figured out that quantitative easing is printing of money, we'll change the bank regulations. And once you realize that we can't put the commercial real estate in our bank, we'll create an SPV and put the bad loans into it. Once you realize that they have all of the cards, but one thing they're motivated by is they are politicians. They will not allow the debt spiral. I think it's hilarious because at one level, I think the SEC and the authorities and the financial system think, well, we're going to control most of these assets. How I think of it is it's a Trojan horse, because before you know it, you buy Bitcoin, then you're seeing that Solana's going up more. You end up opening a Coinbase account. Before you know it, you're self-custodying your Solana and aping into WIF. You know, that's the journey. We've seen them all do it. They'll start with a Bitcoin ETF. And before you know it, they've got a bag full of WIF in their phantom wallet, and their worlds will have changed. So I think of it as a Trojan horse. They think they've won control. I think they've actually lost control.